Hi there, it's your Professor Kristen. I want to take a minute to review the exercise in our discussion forum where we look at the annual balance sheet and income statement for a public company. Um, this exercise is challenging, and so I want to walk through an example with you. I'm going to walk through Google. Google's public name is Alphabet. So if you take a look at Alphabet's publicly available income statement and balance sheet together, we should be able to answer these questions. So I find that Yahoo Finance is a good source for this information. I have spent time looking at it, so I'm familiar with the setup. If I just Google Alphabet financial statements, Yahoo Finance comes up and it has both the income statement and balance sheet here. They also have the statement of cash flows. I can look at this information quarterly or annually. Here I have it annually. TTM stands for trailing 12 months. So I assume, let's see, trailing 12 months. I'm not sure if that end date is as of February or January. We'd have to do a little research, but it's going to be the 12 months ending most recently. I'm going to look at the 12/31 2021 12-month balance sheet and income statement. So the income statement represents flows. Revenue minus expenses, all the different kinds of expenses that a firm has, is going to give us the net income. Something to be aware of when you're looking at these large public companies is that the numbers we're looking at, so this isn't 257 million, the numbers are in thousands. So here we have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million. So when we're looking at this number, we're talking about $257 billion in total revenue. Okay, so let's go back to our exercise. So the first question in our exercise was to find out what amount of revenue the firm earned in the most, what amount of revenue did the firm earn in the most recent year? So I like the 12/31 numbers because it has January through December. Trailing 12 months is going to have um, here probably February through January. So the 12 months are going to be the most recent 12 months, but they're going to be a little different for comparison purposes for different years. So that's why I'm looking at 12/31. And I see that this revenue number, again, all numbers in thousands. So we're not looking at 257 million, we're looking at $257.6 billion in revenue. So that's how I would answer the first question. And then net income, did it earn a profit or a loss? So we know roughly that net income is going to be the revenue minus all the expenses that a company has. And if it earns a profit, it has a positive net income. And if it earns a loss, that means the net income is negative. So here I see that their total revenue, here's their cost of the revenue, gross profit, so total revenue minus the cost of revenue is their gross profit, minus operating expenses gives us our operating income. We're going to deduct out a couple of other things, then we're going to deduct out taxes, and we have the net income available to the common shareholders. So that's the number I'm looking for here. And again, thousands, millions, $76 billion in net income last year. So 12 months ending 12/31/2021. Okay, it did earn a profit. I'm not sure what it did with that profit. In this part of the question, I want you to do a little bit of research. It's not always obvious what they did. If you look at this income statement and we come down here, we can see that there's a calculated earnings per share, and let's see, net income, normalized income, interest. We're getting some below line details. Their earnings before interest, tax, and depreciation. And I'm looking to see if they paid a dividend, but I'm not able to see that here. So I would recommend that you just kind of, in the case of Alphabet, right, just Google it and see what you come up with. There are a lot of people, a lot of financial analysts on Wall Street and in asset management that are actively monitoring these companies. They're invested in these companies, and their clients are invested in these large public companies. So they have a vested interest in knowing what Google's doing with their earnings. In the case of tech firms, they tend to retain their earnings. In the case of small firms, they definitely retain their earnings. Google's a larger company. It's been around for a while, but it's a tech company. So I'm not sure what they did with their net income, which is their income after all of their expenses. This number here, the $76 billion. They may have retained a good bit of it. So something to research for you to look up in your own time. Okay. What was the value of accounts receivable? So when I think about accounts receivable, this is not a flow number. So a flow number is, on the income statement, we have money coming in and out of the firm over a certain time period. But accounts receivable represents an asset that the firm has. It's what's called a current asset. So if we look at our balance sheet and we break down by total assets, total liabilities, and net equity, we see under the current asset category that we have receivables and accounts receivable. So currently, Google has $39 billion in accounts receivable. What's an account receivable? It means just that. It's going to be money that is reasonably going to be recognized as net income in some time period that the accountants in the GAAP principles, so the generally accepted accounting principles, have decided is reasonable. It may be that there's a bill out to a client and they're just getting, they're just waiting to be paid. But it's not going to be something like, well, we built this building and we're going to do this project in this building and we're pretty sure we're going to make money from that project. That's not an account receivable. An account receivable is something that's going to be realized within I think it's 12 months. You have to check with an accountant, or I'd have to do some research on that. I don't have it memorized, but within a reasonable amount of time, we can be assured that we're going to receive this money. So they have that as an asset on their balance sheet. Okay, the next question I might want to answer here is number 5. So how would I answer what was the total amount of current liabilities and what does that represent? So an asset are going to be things that the firm owns that it could liquidate for cash. A liability is something that the firm needs to pay out potentially. And I say that as potentially because not all liabilities are recognized. Not all assets are recognized. There's some risk associated with whether or not an asset is going to be recognized, and the same goes for a liability. You may not pay your bills. So liabilities are balanced against assets, right? We have our equation for assets equals liabilities plus net equity. And the reason for that is that where we have an asset, we have liabilities and equity, and that equation always balances. So our current liabilities, if we look at, so we have our current assets, and then we have our total liabilities. So we'll roll these back up. In 12/31, our current liabilities were $64 billion, right? Thousands, millions, and billions. So they have $64 billion of something that they owe to people. Where accounts are receivable, accounts are payable. So they have $35 billion in payables, in payables and accrued expenses that are due. Some of that are their accounts payable. They've got a tax bill, they've got other payables, they've got this category called other accrued expenses. I'm not sure what's in that. If we looked at their 10K statement, I'm pretty sure we could find out more about what those accrued expenses are. They have pension and post-retirement liabilities, so that's something else that is being accounted for within their total current liabilities. So current liabilities are also due within 12 months. Things that should occur should be cleared out within 12 months. It doesn't mean more aren't going to be added on top, but it's essentially what will be paid out within the next 12 months. Okay. So does the company have any debt? How do you know? Where did you find this information? So I know when I'm looking for debt that I'm going to look for debt under their liabilities. So again, total assets, liabilities, and total equity. Under liabilities, there is so debt's interesting because I could think of it like my car payment. Some of it's due this year, but some of it's not due this next year, right? Say I have a $20,000 loan for a car. Like I have to make payments this year. That's going to be part of my current debt, and it's a current liability. And then I have payments that I don't have to make this year. Like it's a 5-year car loan. I have 4 years of payments that don't have to be made this year. That's part of my long-term debt and is a long-term liability. So under current liabilities, I don't see, I'm just looking really quick. Oh, yep, I do. So we have, remember current liabilities we just looked at, we had payables and accrued expenses, and we have pension and other post-retirement expenses. And then we have this current portion of our debt and some capital leases, and then current liabilities that had been deferred. So this $2 billion is the part of their debt that's due right now, or like within the next 12 months. And total non-current liabilities are going to be long-term, so not due within the next 12 months. And they have debt there too, just like I have a car payment that's not coming up in the next 12 months, but I have car payments in years 2, 3, 4, right, etc. So outside of a year, they have debt, payments that are going to be due, and their long-term debt is broken down by long-term debt and long-term capital leases. So I would accept you adding 12 billion and current debt, capital lease. It gets a little bit confusing. Might have to actually go into the 10K, but the current debt and capital leases, it looks like that could be about 2 billion. So I would say pulling together for their debt, you'll want to look in the long-term or non-current liabilities and current liabilities. And here I have long-term debt is 12.8 billion. And then the short-term part of their debt, which is current, is about 2 billion. So I might add those together for a total of about 14.9 billion or so. You can also look, like there's other ways to do this, right? So here it says total debt is 28 billion. Not sure why that would be 28. Oh, sorry, I do. It makes total sense. So their long-term debt is, and capital, so they're adding in the capital leases into this number below, is 26 billion. And then above we have the current portion of it, which is 2 billion. That current portion plus the long-term portion, they're adding that together, and that's how they're getting the 28 billion here, and they're including those capital leases, which is fine. It's a nuance. It's not something that I'm expecting at this level for us to know that we need to include the capital leases. All right, so that's kind of all I've got for how to answer this question. If you have any questions, or if you had any tips that you wanted to share with me about this exercise, please feel free to share them below. And I'm going to post this video under the week for which this information is contained. I'm going to post this video as an answer to your discussion forum for the week. And please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for tuning in.